All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be with you again this time around, and we're going to be considering a very important topic. And what do you think that topic will be? What do you think is the major determinant of standard in a school? Now, that is a question that so many school owners have asked. And I've also asked so many school owners. I've got many responses in the process. If we are going to fulfill our organizational goals, if we're going to fulfill our reason for starting a school, then one thing is very important. There must be standard in every school. And I've discovered that that is the dream, that's the desire, that's the aspiration and expectation of every school owner to make sure that our schools of standard. I've had many school owners using that as a means of advert that, do you know, come to our school, there is standard in our school. And I have seen so many PTA forums, so many PTA meetings, school owners charging the parent that in our school we uphold standard. Now, if standard is so important and it's one of our major driving forces, and it's also one of our major selling points, how do we achieve that standard? What makes a school to have standard? Interesting question and thought-provoking question, you will say, as far as the soul of school business is concerned. Now I've got so many answers. Somebody said the quality of the teachers. That is very correct, but that is not where we're going. What do you think will determine that? And that person said instructional materials in the school. Fantastic. Instructional materials are important. But when we want to narrow down, we want to pinpoint to the most basic one. Of course, we have not got it. Someone said the aesthetics in the school and the conducive learning environment that we provide for the child. Very true also. But that is not the most and the most of the most. So what do you think that will be? Not the school plant, no. Not the school infrastructure, no. Not the learning environment, no. Not even the staff management, no. Not the brand management, no. All these ones that I've mentioned are very important. They determine standard. But if we want to narrow everything and say pick only one, what do you think that will be? Let me shock you. That's going to be the quality of questions in your school. You say it's as simple as that, just as simple as that. The quality of questions being set in your school is going to ultimately determine the standard your school will have, especially when it comes to producing the kind of student you want to produce. What are the kinds of student you want to produce? One, you want to produce students that will be passing internal examinations. Two, you want to be producing students that will be passing external examinations. Three, you want to be producing students that will be gaining admission to leading universities around and abroad. Four, you want to be producing students who will gain scholarships to study in Ivy League universities abroad and all over the world. Five, you want to produce students who will be able to have requisite skills to be able to beat the unemployment crisis in the nation. Six, you want to produce students who will be passing employment examinations all over the world. Now, if this is your dream, this is your desire, of course, that is what every school owner should aspire to do. For you to do that, then you need students that will be able to 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 uh, trash every test and examination at every juncture of achieving that. And what makes you to get those students? The quality of questions that you set in the school. Let's break it down a little bit. Many of us, we produce students who do so well in internal examinations, but then they don't get to do well when they go for competitions. They don't get to do well when they write external examinations. The way they do in internal examinations, you know the reason? The reason is not far-fetched. The questions we set for them in internal exams in our schools are too cheap, are too weak. So when they meet uh, uh, standard questions in external examinations, they fall like pack of cards. That is the major reason. So I've seen that disparity, I've seen that gap in so many schools. Students scoring A, scoring distinction, scoring 90, 80 in their terminal examinations, first term exam, second term exam. But when they get to WIC, when they get to MECO, they begin to score in the same subject, they begin to score C or even D. So what is the reason? We have not standardized our questions. And so we said, why don't you do this? Let us use Mr. Okonta's school. as a case study. That Mr. Okonsta's school is ABC Private School. In that school, we are teaching indices. And as we are teaching indices, we charge the mathematics teacher for all the questions you are going to treat in indices. Go for the past WAEC questions, the past GCE questions, the past NECO questions, the past UTME questions. Go and look for all the questions on indices, call them and collate all of them together. Let us assume we have 50 questions on indices at the end of the day. That becomes our question bank for indices. We now tell the mathematics teacher, when you want to give them example in the class, use 3 or 4 out of these 50 on indices. When you want to give them class work in the class, use out of these 46 remaining to give them 4 or 6. Now, when you want to give them assignment or homework, already we have 44 remaining. Take 6 out of the remaining 44 indices questions that we have, and then we have about 38 remaining. When you want to do a CA test, pick 4 out of the 38 remaining. So we have 34 questions remaining. And when you want to set exam, you pick another 4. So we have like 30 remaining. So that means all the questions the students have been exposed to under indices, they are all standard questions. Questions they're going to meet in WAEC, they're going to meet in GCE, in NECO, in UTME, in IGCSE. So it becomes a tradition that every question we're using to test our students in this school, they are all standard questions. When the students get to SS3 and they now have to write WAEC mathematics and they come across any question on indices, chances are high they will trash it. But unlike the way we have been doing it before, that we use very short, simple questions as our classwork, as our examples, and then we now wait for them to get to maybe third term exam or mock exam before we introduce these standard questions. If we maintain that for not only indices, we maintain it for logarithm and sorts, angle of elevation, angle of depression, bearing, longitude and latitude, statistics, probability, circle geometry, trigonometry, and all the questions, all the topics, and we do the same thing for all the subjects, then it becomes our tradition. There is no way our student will not dust all competition, all exam examinations. So it boils down to the quality of questions. How do we achieve this practically? I'm going to be sharing the next video. Thank you. God bless.